a journey isn't over until you draw that last breath.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody is on a journey right now.
Yeah.
So who am I to judge you based on your journey,
Mhm.
knowing that my journey hasn't always been perfect? So I kind of try to keep that prerogative and that perspective on everybody else. It's like I can't judge you for who you are or where you are right now because that may not who you be.
Like, what part of being an adult has surprised you the most?
The bills,
The bills.
the
You
bills.
you hardly have any bills, bro. Your bills are
Mm,
light. You
it
have
don't
you
seem
live a
like
life
it.
of leisure. We are.
I'm learning that on the faith aspect, it's an everyday thing.
Mm.
It's not a I have faith now, and if I lose faith tomorrow, it'll still work out. No, faith is an everyday thing.
Welcome to the Common Cultured Collective, where healing has rhythm, grace has boundaries, and growth finally feels like home.
Welcome to another episode of the Calm and Cultured Collective. The structure or the theme for season 2 is reclamation. So we'll have a series of interviews with people as we discuss what they're letting go of and also things that they are reclaiming in this season of their life. So today, I am so fortunate. This specific episode is about the uncomfortable space between having wisdom, living with discipline, and knowing when to apply that wisdom to your own life. And I am so excited because I am joined today by my son, my oldest son, my firstborn child. Well, he's not my oldest son, but he's my firstborn child, Jordan. So welcome. Welcome to the Common Culture Collective, Jordan.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Glad
good.
to
How
hear.
are you?
So Jordan is a 20 something. He's 23. He'll be 24 this year, right?
Yes.
And he's, for the most part, he's on his own and he's just in a space where he's trying to figure out life and where he's, making decisions and he's taking care of himself. He's completely responsible for himself. And it's been a transition for both of us because, as my youngest child says, I'm a helicopter mom. I hover and I try to fix everything. And Jordan has been wrestling to get away from me and to have his own independence and make decisions for his own life. So, we'll be discussing the difference between knowing better, doing better, and then also following your own advice. So let's go. Let's get into it. Jordan, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
23.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you are.
I'll be 24 in September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a soldier. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the United States Army.
Thanks for your service. Move up closer to the screen. Move up closer.
I don't have a haircut,
It's okay. We can't see the details.
but yeah, that's just about it.
Okay. So one thing that my husband and Jordan is not, he's not a parent. He doesn't have any kids. But one thing my husband and I always say is that our boys are, except for one, our oldest. I don't know. I don't think he's too keen on marriage, but the other two were like racing to the altar. Like these boys want a wife. They want to be married. They want to settle down. But okay. So let's get started, Jordan. Why do you think? Because I think you've been the person, or like you've been throughout the course of your friendships, you've been the one that gave all the advice. Like you were the one that people would come to for advice. Have you noticed that shifted, like as you've gotten older, or has that dynamic remained the same?
That dynamic has remained the same. I still get calls, I still get texts, I still get asked for advice. I still get asked on like what to do and the course of action on how to do it and just like the first steps to doing it.
Okay. That's cool. Why do you think well, do you think it's easier to give good advice than it is to follow your own advice?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Because I think it's all about experiences.
Mhm.
So it's like in the experience that you go through, the experiences you go through in this lifetime, it's easier to give good advice, but at the same time, those experiences kind of hinder you from following your own advice in a certain aspect.
So you t are you so do you trust your experience over your advice perhaps?
Thing in a way, because I think my experience kind of guides my advice
Mhm. Okay. Your advice for yourself or for others or both?
for others. For others. Because I think for me, I can only give you advice based on my experience. But
Mhm.
I can kind of apply the advice that I give to my own life, but
Mhm.
at the same time I'm still kind of open to living through the experience and gaining new perspectives so that my advice could be better.
Yeah.
Whether I go up or down, I
Mhm.
could kind of teach the next person on what to do and what not to do.
Mhm. That's good. That's a good point. That's a good point. But so then, you know, one of the things that I always say is that my life didn't start to change until I started to take my own advice. Like I was very good at giving advice. I was very good at and I'm gonna probably edit this part out because this light is killing me. I was very good at giving advice and like you, people always called me to get advice. But in the meantime, my own personal life was a little bit in shambles because I wasn't following my own advice. You know what I'm saying? Like I would give good advice, but I wasn't following it. Like I wasn't following my own advice. Do you think that could be true for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the differences, and I always say this to you all, that our experiences are different because I did not grow up with the weight of social media. So I didn't have all of these outside influences or even these outside perspectives, right? My world was a lot smaller and my influences were a little more intimate than perhaps y'all are because than y'all's were because even now as an adult, I find myself being influenced by social media also. You know, you see things, you be like, oh, that looks like a good idea, or you hear things, you hear these ideas, and then you run with it. What do you think the weight of social media has been like for you and for your experiences as a young man?
I think social media has been like kind of good and kind of bad because social media never really touches down on behind the scenes unless the person that's posting wants to show you that. But at the same time, social media can show you that there's a better side of life.
Mm,
Like there's an upscale to what you're going through, and there's always better days. But at the same time, it could be like while that while what you're seeing is better, you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
mhm,
So it's kind of like take it with a grain of salt.
mhm. That's interesting. That's interesting. Like, how do you know? Like when we think about because there's been a lot of discourse or discussion over the week about emotional maturity and black men, just black people, period, being more emotionally mature and knowing when to put your pride aside and not allow your pride to get into to not allow your pride to impact you or get in your way. Like, what's been do you find yourself like at your age because you are still growing and develop? I think they say your frontal lobe does not develop until you're 25, so your brain still has a lot of growing to do. But like, do you often find that pride can be detrimental in some situations?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do,
but how do you
especially in my
combat
line of work.
in your line of work? Oh, yeah, so when you're dealing with other people, like when
Yes.
you're, because it's all about I'm glad you brought that out. Like, I've always said that you worked very well with structure, you know, like,
Mhm.
I've always said that, like, your entire like, when you were growing up, you know, you knew how to set goals, you knew how to do what it takes to accomplish those goals, and I think that, uh, you know, Jordan played football. He started playing when you were 6. And he even played college football. He went to college on a football scholarship, but football provided a level of discipline. Like it added additional discipline into well, I thought that we ran a dad and I ran a pretty tight ship, but I think that football an extension of that. Like, what has it been like? Because you spent some time away from football before you went to the military. Um, how has that been? Like, how's the adjustment been being back into an environment where discipline is so important?
It's been good and bad. It's had its ups and downs
Mhm,
because while I was playing football, I could always, you know, stand up for myself or,
mhm,
speak my mind.
mhm.
But being in this aspect, you can't always do that. And
Yeah.
sometimes you kind of have to hold your tongue
Mm,
and you just got to make sure that, you're in the right time, right place, right uniform. And then there are some times where you just have to sit down and lay down and just go with being disrespected because sometimes the people that disrespect you don't or won't accept how you stand up for yourself and just
mm.
lean back on their rank and just try to get you in more trouble.
So, what do you think? Do you think the lesson has been for you to learn how to pause before you react and then also choosing when to react? Because it sounds like you're having to experience that in real time. Like you're having to really weigh out if it's worth it to.
Yes. Yes. It's always been well recently it's been more of a think before you speak. And sometimes just like while you might not like it or accept it, you have to, hold your tongue and just roll with the punches.
Right. Or you said something that you said think before you speak, or sometimes it could be think and then not even speak. Like
Yeah.
just there's not even we're not even gonna have that. That's a good point, Jordan. That's a good point. So what is it like as you because you've done a lot of maturing, like you've had some life experiences, you've been through some things. And what has it been like maturing, like emotionally, like the emotional development that you've had to experience with all of these different phases from coming from leaving home and going to school and then going to the military because you've become more independent and you're doing more things for yourself. So you are maturing, but what has that been like for you? Like how has it been? I know I spoke earlier about being a helicopter parent, but what has it been like for you in real time?
I think you won't know what's happening until it's happened.
Mm,
Like, you won't know that you've matured until a situation has been presented and you kind of handle it a certain way. And then you look back and think, like, whoa, like, before I wouldn't have handled it this type of way.
yeah.
So I really could see that I'm getting older, I'm maturing. And I think maturing isn't something that you do. I think it's something that it happens based on what
Mhm,
you go through from day to day. And then it's
mhm.
like, it's not just a choice to mature, but it's built on choices that you do to kinda be better.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good answer. That's a great answer. What is it that you still struggle with? Like when no one is watching, what is it that you still struggle with?
I think that I still struggle with, just not being in control, not being able to just let things go. I think a lot of the time I sit here and I dwell on certain things and trying to figure out, well, what could I have done different? How could I have changed that? And then I'm learning now that sometimes things just happen because they happen
Mhm,
and there's nothing that you can do to control it. So it's better to just be okay with it. And like I said, just kind of roll with the punches and
mhm.
just be better next time.
Right. And you're an overthinker too. I think I shared with you that I'm like that too. I'm always thinking of things and it's a fine line between learning from your mistakes and beating up on yourself. Like how do you know when it's time to stop dwelling on it? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
hmm I
How
do.
do you know? How do you know when it's time to let something go and just learn and move forward? Like what does that process look like for you?
I think it's you won't know until you do know.
Mhm.
That's what I'll say. There won't be signs, there won't be answers set out for you because at the end of the day, it'll just be your choice.
Mhm.
So I think once you know, then you'll know for sure, like, hey, It's time to move on. Like it's no time to waste emotion or thoughts on this certain subject. So just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I think the I want what I want like, who are you right now? Like, I know who like, I always say I know who you were when you left home, and I told you the other day that I could tell, you had experienced a significant loss. You had your first heartbreak, first real heartbreak. So when you left, I could see that you were hurt. Like, I could see that something in you had changed. But who are you now? Like, in this season of your life, who is Jordan now? We're 2 years past, right? You've been in the military for 2 years. So who are you now?
He's in that certain space of where he's letting go of a lot of things. He's letting go of childish things and he's kind of stepping into being an adult. He's
Why are you
stepping
talking
into
about yourself in third person? And like, who are you? I am. Like, you like
I
Jordan is.
am.
No, I know who Jordan is. Like, bro, you like, yeah, Jordan is a, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stepping into just kind of being an adult and kind of being the man that I was raised to be,
Yeah.
kind of being a leader
Yeah.
and um yeah, kind of in that space in between, being a child and being a man. Well, I wouldn't say being a child, but like kind of being like being immature and being mature, essentially.
Mm, that's a good point. That's a good
Kind of
point.
just moving towards being mature
Mhm.
and being a better me all around ultimately.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like when you speak about being a leader, I always tell people that you've always been a leader. I don't know if you remember this, but when the daycare you used to go to had this fish named Gideon. Do you remember? And you had 2 other friends that you always play with, but y'all were coming up with a plan to break into the daycare to get Gideon because y'all didn't like that he was left there by himself at night. Like, he was there all by himself, and y'all didn't think that was fair. You, like, had this little crew, and I'm like, "You know that's illegal, right?" It was a little fish named Gideon, it was so funny. But even when I think about you, like, leading the girls around, like, like, you've always been a leader, you know, you've always been a leader. So it's just who you are naturally, and I'm glad to see you move forward, to step forward. I remember when we dad and I first got married, and you and Noah you guys always were always into it. Do you remember that? It
Mhm.
was constant nonstop, and the counselor said that y'all were competing because you were my oldest and Noah was dad's oldest. So it was natural for y'all to clash because both of y'all were like alphas, like you're not gonna tell me what to do. And Noah was like, you're not gonna tell me what to do. So that was really interesting. But yeah, you've always been a leader. And this next question, we talked about this before. And he was like, oh, I hate being an adult. It's so ghetto. Like, what part of being an adult has surprised you the most?
The bills.
The meals.
The
You
bills.
hardly have any bills, bro. Like, your bills are light.
It don't
You
seem
live a
like
life
it.
of leisure. We already talked about that, but
No,
those
it seems
bills are
like
something else, right?
every time I wake up, it's a transaction. That's
Oh, yeah.
withdrawing money from my card, or it's somebody else telling me that I need to pay this, and I'm like, I don't like this. I
Yeah.
don't like this at all.
Imagine, because dad and I always say that, we don't know how we did it with 6 kids. Like, we don't know. It was insane how we managed it all. But I think you're doing good at it. I think you're doing very good at being an adult. I think that you are rocking it. So yeah, no surprises there. So do you feel like people see you for who you really are or only what they expect from you?
I think it's kind of it's both. I think it's people only see me for who I am if I allow them to. But at
Mhm,
the same time, people only see me for who I am or see me for what they expect me to be
mhm.
if I allow them to. So it's always like it's kind of like a my choice type of thing.
How do you feel about that though? Like, what do you mean it's always a your choice kinda thing? What does that mean?
I feel like people will see you based on what you choose to show them.
Mm, that's good. That's good.
And then it's always up to them on what they see you for, how they see you, because at the end of the day, people are their own people.
Mhm.
They have their own brain, they have their own thoughts, so they're always gonna form some sort of opinion about you that you may not agree with, but it's not one you could always argue with because at the end of the day, they have their own life. They have their own perspective. They have their own experiences. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I had my mentor tell me one time that 'cause she always speaks to me about network and the power of networking in your career, and by following her advice, I have been able to experience growth, but I always get uncomfortable because I feel like people wanna know so much about me, and I think that as a Black woman in tech, I'm a little bit of an anomaly, like, there aren't a lot of us there, so I think that people are naturally curious about me, and I'm always like, "I don't know you." Like, I'm not about to sit here and tell you my personal business. But my mentor recommended, she said, it's like putting on a mask. Like when you come to work, you determine which mask you're wearing that day, and you determine ahead of time things that you'll talk about socially. Like you determine what you'll reveal, you determine all of that, and then you just work within those parameters. And I was
mhm.
like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good advice." So I encourage you to be the same way. I know it's probably a little bit more difficult for you because you live and work with the same people, so your world is a little more closed, but yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. What does becoming a man mean to you now compared to when you were younger? Like, has the definition changed, or is it still the same? Or are you defining it as you go along?
I think I'm defining it as I go along
Mhm.
because I feel like everybody can, or every man can kind of base who they want to be a man upon the men that they've seen. But I think that I'm taking the experience now as just like kind of experiences, kind of just figuring out what to do, what not to do, and, figuring out how to just push forward and move forward from it and being kind of like my own man, but kind of being like the man y'all have raised me to be. So it's kind of like a half and half, a 50-50. Like who y'all raised me to be, added with a little bit of my own spice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And I think we all do that. I think that we all kind of have to figure out. I think that the way that you were raised is the backdrop. Like that's like the outline, but you fill it in. You fill it in, you can add to it, you can take away from it. That's good, Jordan. Like when you think about accountability and being held accountable, what kind of accountability helps you?
What do you mean? In what way?
So, for instance, like with working out, I know that I can't just go to a gym and work out on my own. I know that personal training works for me because I need the individual support, and also I need someone there that's going to hold me accountable.
Mhm.
Like in my personal life, I always say that I try to treat people in a way that's pleasing to God because ultimately I'm accountable to God for my actions. Does that make sense? So when you
Mhm.
think about what like, and say for instance, if you wanted to stop vaping or whatever, and somebody wanted to support you, how could they support you? How could they hold you accountable for that goal? Like if you say, I want to stop vaping, how could I help you and hold you accountable?
As far as the vaping go, I don't think you can. But
If you wanted to though, like if you wanted to quit, what could I do to kind of, help you out there?
I
How
don't
would you
think
want me
there's
to show up for
anything
you?
that you could do. I think it all boils down to me. It's all a mental game. It all just falls down on me being disciplined and
Mhm.
just like knowing that, well, I said I wanted to quit. I gave my word, I quit. So that's just, that's not what we're going to do.
Okay. But so even like on say for instance, if we look at work, right? Like if you kind of rely on your leadership for a few things, and if you were trying to go to the next level and say you needed to get a packet together and you needed how could they help hold you accountable for what you want to do? Like what does that look like for you? For your career development, how could your leadership help you with that? Like, I know they give you counseling statements, right? Say, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Does that sort of accountability work for you? And if they do check ins, does that work for you? Or
Yes.
that does? Okay. So clear guidelines and clear actionable steps is what works for you.
Mhm.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Like, what kind of correction makes you shut down?
I think it's more of the correction that comes from like an attitude that makes me just feel like, okay, I'm being attacked. Now is not the time to now is the time to soak it in, but now isn't the time to listen. Now is the time to kind of defend myself or stand up for me. And then afterwards, when all is said and done, then you could think back and reflect, okay, what was being said, how much of it was true, and what can I do moving forward to make sure that those words never come out of that person's mouth again.
Well, but is that realistic? Well, so you're saying, but if I heard you correctly, it sounds like what you're saying is you're gonna make sure that they can never say that about you again. Like, right?
Yes.
Like, I get it. That's fair. That's fair. So when people raise their voice or if people seem angry, you feel attacked and it causes you to shut down.
Yes.
Why? I wonder where that comes from.
I think that's one thing that I'm still trying to figure out now.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm pretty
Mhm.
cool, calm, and relaxed. So for you to kind of approach me with an attitude or yell at me or come at me in a way that I feel is being attacked when I know that it's uncalled for, then I'm gonna be like, okay, now it's time. Like now it's like defense mode. Like now it's time to stand up for who you are.
Mm,
And I feel like a part of that goes into people just not knowing who you are.
mhm.
Them not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. They just know what you choose to let them see.
I read this book once. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was by Stephen Covey. I think I'm gonna send it to you. And one of the principles in the book is to seek first to understand, then be understood. So essentially, what that means is that when you're engaging with someone, first try to understand what they're saying. And you can do that by parroting back to them. Like, if I hear you correctly, this is what you're saying. So you should seek first to understand what they're saying and then be understood. Like, after you make it clear to them that you heard them and that you understand what they're saying, then it's your turn to then be understood. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I don't know if that'll help you, like, if someone's raising their voice at you, like, if you could kind of focus on what they're saying to try to understand what they're saying and maybe ignore what's behind it, like the tone, particularly in that environment, you know? I don't know. I don't know. But how do you think parents can support their adult children without making them feel controlled?
I think by sometimes just letting go. Because I see that sometimes as parents, you raise somebody and you have these expectations set on, your child. And sometimes that can be overbearing
Mm,
and stressful towards a child to where it's like, well, I can't even kind of figure out who I am or what I want to do because certain expectations have been set upon me and I have to go through with them. And I feel like later on in life, that can lead to like a situation that could be handled early in life,
like what? Give me an example.
like kind of being lost and kind of not knowing who you are,
Mm,
kind of figuring the world and life out for yourself with help, with guidance, but without the expectations of who you should be or who you want to be.
that's good. That's good. But how do you think parents let go? Like, what do you, as a child, what does your parent letting go look like for you?
Just support through the ups and downs, just support, like knowing that, especially, kids my age, knowing that we're still young and there's a lot to life that we just don't know about. And we're kind of figuring it out. We're trying to figure it out on our own, kind of just like taking a step back and then not always offering advice, but just being there or making it open for your child to come to you for advice.
Mhm. So, if I hear you correctly, it sounds like what you think parents should let go of is the expectations, like expecting your children to be one way and allowing them to be who they are.
Yes.
That's good, Jordan. That's good. It's very hard as a parent, and one day you'll see. When you have your own kids, you will see. Do you think that shame helps people change?
Yes,
You do?
I do.
Why?
Because shame is the kind of feeling you don't want to feel, but
It's
it's
not a good feeling.
the feeling that everybody has to feel.
Mhm.
So I feel like if something that you did brought you shame, then you would know, like, again, what to do and what not to do moving forward to make sure that you don't feel that feeling again.
That's good. That's good. I think that I think that shame can change people in good ways and also bad ways, because sometimes shame may not lead to change behavior. It could just, people would be willing, they would hide it more because they're embarrassed or ashamed of it. So I think
Mhm.
that it can work, it can be good and also it can change you for the better and then also not. What do you wish older adults understood about young adults in this day and age just trying to grow?
At some point in time, we were just like them.
Mhm.
We were just stepping into the world. We were lost. Granted, the older adults didn't have the tools and resources that we do now,
Mhm.
but I feel like those don't really change anything because everybody went through that phase in life. Everybody went through that time in life to where they kind of stopped relying on their parents and they
Mhm.
started to try to figure out the world for themselves and try to see the world, try to take the blinders off that have been put on them and just see the world for what it is.
Mm. I agree that at some point I think that's a good point. I think you and that's one thing I have found myself saying that you about just kids, they're gonna have to figure it out. Like I figured it out, they'll figure it out too. And it's so much easier said than done. But I remember just recently, and I don't remember who I was talking to, but the time that my mother grew up in the 1950s was a very different time from when my grandmother grew up in the 1920s in the Jim Crow South, right?
Mhm,
But even at the time, like, just to put it in perspective, I always say that my grandmother raised my mother to survive, and in turn, my mother raised me to survive. Like, we were raised to survive, to know how to navigate the world. There was very little room for feelings in my family because we were being taught to survive in a world that wasn't gonna be fair to us. Like, I think that was drilled into me. And I think that now we have a time where and the time that I was raised was different from the time my mother was raised, the time that you all were raised is different from the time that I was raised. But I think that I have had the luxury of having feelings or not just raising y'all on survival, right? I think that we raised y'all with love too.
mhm,
And y'all are way more feeling than we ever were. Like, y'all feel things, y'all are more in touch, more in tune with your feelings. But I think one of the things that and dad and I were talking about this recently. I don't know if like you're aware of everything that's been happening with the case with the young black kid in Dallas. But, your younger brother is going to high school, and I always worry about because he's tall now. He's got facial hair, like, he doesn't look like a baby anymore, he looks like a man. So, while I know that he's a kid, the world is looking at him like a man. And I remember having the same fear for you. And I remember, just as y'all were growing up, trying to lightly tell y'all that even though it looks like even though you're taught one thing, that's really not how the world is, and I find myself, having those talks with you all that my parents had with me, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know where I was going with that point. I completely lost my train of thought, but so I say that to say that, it is a different time. We did figure it out, and you will figure it out too, and I think that your parents just always worry about what could happen. They worry about the worst case scenario. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even though we all turned out fine, we just worry about what could really be happening. That's it. We always worry about the worst case scenario, and that's not a good way to think. It's so much anxiety there. But I have 2 questions for you, and then we'll do
Mhm.
your reflection. But what are you learning about faith, discipline, and self-respect?
I'm learning that on the faith aspect, it's an everyday thing. It's not a I have faith now, and if I lose faith tomorrow, it'll still work out. No, faith is an everyday thing.
Mhm.
Um, what were the other two?
Discipline and self-respect.
Self-respect is one thing that you have to stand on.
Mm.
Like self-respect is one thing that you have to have
Mhm.
because if you don't look out for you can't expect somebody else to look out for you if you don't look out for yourself.
Mhm.
So self-respect is one thing that is like it's a must. It's a must because self-respect also comes with values and values come with morals. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
self-respect is a necessity
and it's deciding how you'll allow people to show up in your life, right? Like you
and
have
and kind of giving you an insight on what you choose to accept and what not to accept
Mm.
from people and not just people but yourself too.
Yeah.
And that kind of that goes into discipline
Mhm.
because self-respect and discipline kind of go hand in hand because
Yeah.
it's like I respect myself enough to not let myself do, this certain thing or that certain thing or fall into this certain type of way. And I respect myself enough to uphold this standard and take this course of action.
That's good. That's good. And then one final question. What would you say to a young man who knows better but is struggling to do better?
You'll figure it out.
Mm.
And in time, it'll come. Just keep going, keep pushing, keep that faith in God. And while everything might feel scrambled right now, and you might not know that next step, in time, things will start to align.
Okay. And I know I said that was the last question, but I do have one final question. Well, 2 more questions. What do you want your family to understand about your journey?
It wasn't always easy. There were ups, downs, twists, and turns. But for the most part, a journey isn't over until you draw that last breath.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody is on a journey right now.
Yeah.
So who am I to judge you based on your journey, knowing that my journey hasn't always been perfect? So I kind of try to keep that prerogative and that perspective on everybody else. It's like I can't judge you for who you are or where you are right now because that may not who you be in a year, 2 years, and that may not have been who you are 2 years ago or a year ago.
So are you
So
saying that you don't wanna be judged? In a nutshell, to stop judging you? You feel judged?
I don't feel judged, but I would say like just it's kind of like a keep an open mind
Mm.
because what somebody might show you now may not have been the same them that they would have shown you a year ago, or it may
Right.
not be the same them that they show you a year from now. So it's kind of like take it for face value, but understand that what you're looking at now is not, it's almost 100% not who you're going to see in the future or what you're going to see in the future.
It's a great question. I'm sorry, a great answer. That's a great answer. And one of the things that I said I would start doing is asking, what are you reclaiming? Like in this season of your life, what have you let go of that you're reclaiming again?
Myself,
Mm.
I feel like with football, I kind of let go of Jordan and let football become my identity.
Mm.
But now I'm in a space to where it's like I'm trying to figure out who I am, what I like to do, and what I want to do. So now it's just more of a laying out the foundation and just getting back to ground zero and figuring out who is Jordan. That's what I'm reclaiming right now.
I love that for you. I love and, were you rafting today? Were you, like, on a raft?
Yeah, I was.
Not was it fun?
It was tiring,
It was
but yeah, it was fun.
was today, like, the org day?
Yeah.
Oh, and y'all went rafting.
Yeah, we went to like, a little lake or a beach type of thing.
Mhm. That sounds so cool. Nice, nice. So, I do wanna let you know that I am proud of you. I feel like we talk a lot. We text every day. I try to talk to you a couple of times a week. I don't You don't always answer when I call, but that's okay. But I am very proud of you. I'm proud of your growth. I'm excited for your future. And I'm coming to learn that one of the hardest parts about parenting adult children is realizing that you can love them deeply, see their potential clearly, and still not be able to do the work for them. And I think
Mhm,
that I gave you that whole speech about protecting the king and being protective of yourself, and it's like I have had to learn to trust you with you. Like you're my kid, but you're not my baby that I have to do everything for anymore, and I don't have to be so closely because I don't think you kids understand that when things happen to them, it happens to their parent too. Like we experience it along with you, but I'm excited for you. I always have hope in you. You are a overcomer. Like your name has meaning. And I chose that name for you for a reason. I was very intentional. I prayed on your name. It has meaning. And I think that you've lived up to it. And I think you'll continue to live up to it. But I think that life is hard. Life is hard. We all have choices to make and decisions to stand by. And I think that one of the things for you is going to be knowing when to let the warrior out and then like the lover and the fighter. So it's
mhm,
like knowing when to be loving and knowing when to fight. Does that make sense?
mhm.
And I don't mean physical fight because there's no place for that anymore. I mean, like, knowing when to engage. So thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for being so gracious and appearing and sharing your perspective. Collective, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Jordan is single. So,
Jordan is about to leave.
all the single ladies. My son is single. My son is a good catch. And yeah, that's it. All right, collective. Love you. Bye.
Welcome to the Common Cultured Collective.